Well, I heard about the fella you've been dancing with all over the neighborhood. So why didn't you ask me, baby? Or didn't you think I could? Well, I know that the boogaloo is out of sight, but the shing-a-ling's a thing tonight. But if that was you and me, baby, I would have shown you how to do it right. Do it right.
Private Eye drive through at the 100 with Arkansas Kid. Private Eye just in front of Arkansas Kid. And Warney late on the outside. A photo finish. Warney driving at Private Eye.
Yorkshire straightens up, got a length clear from Robusto. A Stadium Stairs winding up. Yorkshire's running it again. He's a length in front though, and Yorkshire wins the game.
Over past the leader still, Ray Magnerio taking ground off him now. Ray Magnerio goes to overpass, Cosmic Crusader lunging at them. Ray Magnerio delivers the knockout blow to win the gold.
And now on PG Podcast Network, it's time for the year-round carnival with Vince Accardi and your host, Racetrack Rolfie.
Well, we bet Robbie Griffiths and Willie Pike were doing the shaking the tail feather as they won the newish Gold Rush with Ray Magnerio, but also some terrific racing on the eastern side of the country as well. Yorkshire, did he take a step up, winning that Ingham, and a bit of everything. The emerging horse Yorkshire and the veteran Tara Mansour winning the Pakenham Cup. G'day, Vince Accardi.
Hey, Ralphie, how are you?
Right.
Talk about good racing.
Yeah, there was a bit of everything. Why don't we start in the West? And tell you what, a bit of a theme for the 4 weeks we covered it was the hoses were out a little bit early. There was also a bit of wind, but looks like on Saturday that was proper Ascot racing fast.
About time.
Yeah.
That's all I can say, because even they still started with an S5 before Saturday.
Yeah, hoses disease.
Yeah, we were exactly where we should have been. And the speed was on, wasn't it ever? The speed was back.
Well, and not just the speed was back. I mean, Pikey was back with 4, and including 2 of the main winners. And it's got to be said that, Pikey, when he's not quite right, he's out the back a bit, and also on days where it's been suited on paces. But where was he Saturday? Storyville, bang, leading all the way, and Ray Magnerio stalking, absolute perfection.
Wow, that was a 10 out of 10 ride. I mean, and that was good, genuine pace. +4 early speed overpass, set the theme up. And of course, Pikey, why wouldn't he be in the golden position, Ralphie? Going 1.2 lengths above benchmark on Ray Magnerio. You couldn't have been in a better position. And the move was on in the mid-race. High tension as well. Like, overpass still going 3.8 lengths above benchmark between the 8 and the 4. And just obviously the beginning of the wobble. And Pikey just put the hammer down. They'd gone from 1.2 to +4.2. That got him victory, Ralphie, over Cosmic Crusader, which surprised me with his run. Mind you, 2.7 lengths below benchmark. Just that 1 length probably too far back. Too big a move in the middle. Too big a move last 400 to win. And we're only talking like inches probably in the end.
So with Ray Magnerio and Overpass, we almost should bracket them because both were going into the race with queries at 1,400. Of course, It wasn't definitive. Overpass is probably the classic case. It'd be very hard to beat in a good 1,300 metre race. 1,400 there, that late drop off. He's obviously already fit, so that's just him finding the end of his distance range. Yeah.
Well, he's used all his speed.
Yes.
And he just couldn't hold on in the end, could he? Just couldn't hold on. I mean, I felt that his overall 1,400 metre performance was fantastic. He's beat most of them home. And yeah, you're right, Ralph. It's just that weakening, and that's because of the distance and the speed. Now, would that have been much different if he was travelling at a length above benchmark. Well, he's not really the same horse, is he? When he's not able to travel at a certain speed, because he doesn't. If he goes a lot slower, every other horse gets a better chance to get victory. Where this way here, he really did reduce the opportunities of other horses having any chance of winning because of the fast pace in the middle.
Yeah, that's what I want to underline. It's not a criticism. It's actually, I thought Josh Parr couldn't have ridden that better given his profile.
Yeah, perfect ride.
So back to Ray Magnerio. What did we learn from him? Because it was an unknown at 1,400 metres. On the Friday pod, you were making a case for Joker's Grin. They've probably got similar profiles, and then by the time Joker's Grins are scratching, you've ended up putting Ray Magnerio in that second slot. And probably, is that probably as good as you can go, given how good the ride was?
Yeah. But definitely was. And it's also, he wouldn't very often have the opportunity to be on a really, good speed surface where there's plenty of speed. And he actually delivered because he must have loved and thrived the speed in the track, Ralphie. I mean, that's just unbelievable what he's done. And even though he's weakened a little bit over the last couple of 100 metres, the reality was he'd done enough to win, and it's, bang on new PB.
Also, was a mixing of the form lines there with the Winterbottom form of Ray Magnerio and Overpass to a lesser extent Oscar's Fortune, who was good in his lead up, but then a bit plain in the Winterbottom. But Cosmic Crusader was the northerly form. What did we learn about him? Because that's two very big closing sections, and on a 7-day back up, 1,800 back to 1,400, that's a challenge.
Yeah, and that had a lot of pressure, that race as well, Ralphie. And really, if you look at that horse's all his performances, when in particular the last three, if you go 3 runs back, he was 8.2 lengths above benchmark early. Then leading into this run, he was 2.7 lengths below benchmark, but massive mid and late. I mean, the combined last 800 was 10.5 lengths. This was leading into this run. That flattens a lot of horses, Ralphie. And yet here, the reality is, was it the early speed and what had happened to him on how fast he went the run before that affected him early, that he couldn't just go the pace? And that was the difference between winning and losing. But this horse he's bloody good, Ralphie. Yeah.
He is. No surprise, Western Empire flat as a pancake.
Yep. Well, that's probably what I expected from Cosmic, Ralphie.
Yes. The market didn't know. Jeez, they wanted to back him.
Yes, so they knew things, and especially 7-day backups, they're not easy.
Yep, always a challenge. What did we learn from Smooth Chino in race 5? The unbeaten horse. He was super in his lead in, but it looks like he's gone better again.
He's a good horse too, Ralphie. Overall, we're talking about a horse that's had half a dozen starts, unbeaten, plus 1.2 overall. He's now improved by a genuine length so far for the preparation. I don't even know if he's even peaked yet, Ralphie. Because when you just look at what happened with this horse at the end of the race, 0.7 above benchmark last 200 metres, I just can't help but feel there's a lot more to come still.
6 from 6 on his way to
yep.
on his way to 7 from 7. So
yep.
The listed mile really, and we'll end on this when it comes to Ascot. This was Pikey putting on a clinic, and I'm actually channeling the late Dean Lester here as well with one of his mantras, which was when you get good jockeys up front on the right horses, good luck getting past either of them. And Pikey and Lucy Fiore just owned it.
Yeah, well, he won the race, Ralphie, with pretty much. We're talking about Storyville, right?
Yes.
That first section, that was the big killer, going 7.3 lengths below benchmark first split time. That's almost having total control of a race, especially for this horse. I mean, if you look at this horse's average early speed, it's probably somewhere around that 4 lengths below benchmark is his average speed, and here he is going 7. Big plus. Even the mid, whilst it was good, it was only 0.1 above benchmark, so it was reasonably controlled, and that left something for the overall last 400. Plus 2.1. It's not his best run, but it looked like his best win. And it's all Pikey.
So Love and War has made up significant ground, but it's already fit. what I want to ask you about is Machine Gun Gracie, because if you're traveling slowly but you're first up with off a long break, to be able to do that to be able to get a race shape which forces you to do so much in the mid race is probably going to test your load.
Well, it's the first time he's had to even squeeze that big. So it was 11 and a half. Yeah, 11 and a half lengths squeeze. And you're right, Ralph, doing that first up. Even that horse, last 200 metres, weakened a little bit because of conditioning. Just too much work in the middle off a slow pace didn't work for him. Now, does that mean he would have been a lot better off if the race was 3-4 lengths faster? I reckon yes, he would have been a lot better off because it would have softened the other runners. But that's the tape, Ralphie. If you got a slow race shape, you're going to have to deal with it.
Let's swing across to Randwick, where the feature event was the Ingham. Obviously, it dominated the card quality-wise, and Yorkshire has continued his progression, race shape-wise and performance-wise. How have you scored the performance?
Well, overall, Yorkshire's ended up with plus 2.6, Ralphie, best of the day. Hard to fault. This was a race where the tempo was bang on fast, plus 6.1. There was no, I do feel that that's what we were anticipating. There was going to be a race with good, solid speed. A couple of surprising things for me in terms of they've gone at that sort of pace. Gringotts, firstly, could only sort of go a length below benchmark. I thought that was really interesting, but that's already put you in a lot of trouble. Sabaj is going 4.4 lengths below benchmark early. I wonder why. That's like way too far back. And the races won for the horses, or the ones that have performed best, are the horses that are within that 3 lengths from the lead. And I personally, Yorkshire, really, I did expect the horse to be right up there, but he came superbly with the pressure, and he was potentially the big horse on, that also had the rise like Sabaj, but he was the one that I felt was positioned best in the end, where the other two runners who were hard in the market weren't. And I don't know why.
9 lengths from the lead.
Yep.
Probably once you settle there, good luck.
Yeah, well, it looked like initially the riders jumped out with some sort of intention, but then probably thought they were going too fast, and then they had the big slowdown in the middle.
Yeah.
That creates a lot of carnage. Usually it doesn't help the horses up front, but for whatever reason, a lot of the horses didn't cope or couldn't cope. Now, is it because we've got changing of the speed in the ground? I'm not sure why, but a number of horses, particularly the key runners, they definitely didn't deliver.
So Yorkshire with a big slowdown there. I mean, that's a 7-length slowdown. Yep. His overall number is 2.6. What type of projection could you now give him going forward as a lightly raced horse who missed a fair bit of racing?
He's probably trending to 3.5, 4 potentially, Ralphie. He's just too lightly raced to really put a ceiling on him. His overall raw plus 5.1. See, when you're looking at how much impact you get from the mid-race slowdown, it's never easy to put a final number on why, because first of all, they've gone really fast, Ralphie. And I don't know if the horse could have gone much faster than what it did. And even though he would have been somewhat disadvantaged with the slowdown, it probably affected a lot of other horses more. Because those lead horses got edges because of that.
Yes, and so a horse like Engzudo pinching ground, cutting the corner, and probably Engzudo and Sabaj have a similar speed profile, but there's from the barrier and position in running, there's you've won 4 lengths at the start.
Yeah, and this is the difference, and maybe that's more respect to the barrier with some horses, but the pace was there. They just couldn't find the position, maybe, and that's why the rider just drifted back.
So a couple of informed stables, Joe Pride and Bjorn Baker running the places with Stadio Mastala and Robusto. Speaking of Bjorn Baker, for our members bonus, Oh, it was a very interesting win at Wyong during the week, so I'm going to ask you about that later, about Paradoxium, that it's emerged on the scene as a Magic Millions horse. Let's. I think that's pretty much it for. There's one little nugget I'll ask you about for the members bonus too that I reckon I found from that meeting, but we'll swing across to Pakenham. We've got a bit of everything there. Firstly, Tara Mansour, the veteran in the Pakenham Cup, wins. Very interesting. And he declared it, not declared it, but he said pre-race they were going to try something new. And in race 7 there, by the look of the numbers there, Luke Curry has ridden this race to absolute perfection, both from judging when to go on the speed, but also then to go out super wide, which was where the clearly the best ground was.
Well, this is that track, isn't it, Ralphie? Especially when there's a little bit of speed in there. I'm not saying there was a ton of speed in there, but there certainly was some. And you couldn't have been gifted a better scenario with that first section. 3.1 lengths below benchmark, lead speed marginally better than benchmark. That's a great place. The move did come in the middle for a lot of horses, so everybody had to accelerate. And that horse there, the winner, Tara Mansour, was the only horse to break benchmark last 200 metres. Probably, I know Etna Ross had been in really good form, Ralphie, but I don't like saying it, but it just felt like a lot of the stays in the race there just were ordinary.
Oh, it was really mediocrity.
Yeah.
But and with Tara Mansour, he's always had a modicum of ability, and there he is. He's produced a benchmark performance, so he's round to his best, and others haven't.
Well, you said it nicely, Ralphie. Yes.
That's the reality. But that wasn't the main race, actually. The main race was the Supernova, race 8, with $1 million up for grabs. Oh, Vince, I was pretty happy with this one. I made a good case for him on Friday, and what I want to put the lens on first, before I ask you about it, was Tommy Stockdale nailed the brief. What a beautiful ride! He knew exactly what he was doing, and he knew exactly where he wanted to go. He rides at that Thursday night circuit a lot, and he knew, let's not duck and weave. Let's just do one big run in the better lanes.
Well, you can see how much that helped the horse, right? Being out wide. I mean, unbelievable. That was the perfect ride. Number one, he's probably a little bit further back than ideal, going 3.3 lengths below benchmark. The lead speed was plus 4.5. Now, Private Eye going 2.6 lengths above benchmark. He realistically was in the perfect position. But those lanes, Ralphie, if you're not using them to your advantage, you are going to be disadvantaged. And if you look at the way that last 400, like, first of all, Warnie's 4.8 overall, and then you look at his last 200 metres, plus 3.4. The next closest horse was virtually 3. Well, this is without roll on high. If I just look at those horses that are in the top 4, the next closest horse went 4.4 above benchmark. That's how much power that horse had over the last 200 and 400 metres, particularly out wide. Private Eye couldn't even break benchmark off that pace. It's not because the horse can't do it. If the horse was in the same lane, he would have gone a lot faster.
Big shout out to the Weight Watchers there, with apparently Wardy got out to a huge price because he bet Private Eye worse than the weights. Maybe look at lanes and speed and all those things.
Yeah,
might be a bit better for you. But also the other thing too, and you made a big case for this on Friday, was that there's some stables where you don't worry about setups over too much. You just think they're going to keep producing their best, and the Mars stable's one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. No question about that.
All right, they're the main races there from the 3 venues. We'll wind it up there. Next week, we're going to do a best of the spring from both Melbourne and Sydney. So we're just going to have a look at the really good horses as a way to end the year. In the meantime, thanks so much for tuning in to Year Round Carnival.